Season 8. And what Season 8 means the release of a new tank, and this tank is Mauga, a beefiest Samoan with 2 bastions on his sides. Now, before the release of him in Season 8, we had almost a trial run with him sometime in Season 7. I think it was a month before. Everyone could pretty much agree that he was pretty weak, he was easily countered, and he just overall wasn't a strong tank just like most of the tanks in the roster today. With the debut of him in Season 8, people would say it's quite the opposite. Hey, hello, stuff, whatever, it's your new boy Les, and welcome to a new video, and if you're new, welcome to the channel. And as per usual, it's that time of the month where Les doesn't have a video, so Les therefore has to take something that's happening right now and talk about it for 10 minutes. Or 5. Or 3. And why Mauga? Well, I'll give it to you straight, Chief. Mauga is overpowered. So in the Season 7 run, I think everyone can mutually agree that Mauga wasn't really strong. He couldn't hold his own, you know what I'm saying? Even though he had such abilities like his charge, which basically makes him invulnerable to a lot of attacks and a lot of stuff, basically. He was just overall just weak, and he was just like the rest of the roster who isn't Orisa. However, with him coming into Season 8, the tide has quite changed. Literally polar opposite. Mauga went from being one of the like roadhog-ish tanks, becoming one of the best tanks in Overwatch 2 currently. When I mean best, yes, I mean better than Orisa. Let me explain. So the trial thing was pretty cool. The trial before his release, we all got a taste of him. Okay, that sounds kind of weird. We all basically got to use Mauga and see how he was in the current state of the game, so then developers can use that feedback that we gave him in that time to be able to make him more prepared for, you know, Season 8. And to be honest, they did listen. He's definitely much more tankier, and he's definitely a lot more offensive. But they've overtuned him so much that he's basically ruined the tank role. Ruining the tank role, but he's the best tank. It's great to have a second tank that's able to hold its own. And you're right, it's great that there is another tank that's able to hold its own. But it's so extreme to the point where that one tank nullifies every other tank, besides Sigma and possibly Zarya. Now in the trial that we got Mauga in, like a solid counter to him was, you know, anti, just like with Roadhog, but a counter to Ananade as well cleansed. So that was kind of the ways that you would allow Mauga during the trial to kind of survive, even though he was still getting clapped. But now even with Ananade, it really doesn't freaking matter. He's just that powerful. Mauga has a bastion turret on each arm, one that ignites heroes and one that crits heroes. Yes, crit heroes, and it absolutely melts not only just normal DPS but all tanks. Yes, even Zarya. I mean, not Zarya, Orisa. The tank that used to be the best tank in this game, and not tank Mauga. Now Mauga has both supports on him, he's not going to die. And I say this from experience. I don't say this just because of what other people have been saying. I say this personally from my own experience with playing against Mauga. Mauga's survivability is off the charts, and Mauga's offensive ability is off the charts, and he can easily melt almost every single tank the tank role. Well, it's great that, you know, a tank can now survive and actually do something in a team fight. It sucks that every other tank has to, you know, come at a cost of that. So Mauga has somehow single-handedly improved the tank role majorly and also downgraded the tank role majorly. It's like a paradox. It's so weird because the best hero in the game is a tank, which is cool because tanks should be technically the ones being like the playmakers in the game, right? But somehow Mauga has also made it so that you can't play like 90% of the tank roster. It's very interesting. At the time of this recording, a bunch of changes went live, specifically nerfs. I think they nerfed his, like, there was something about his guns, and I think there was another thing too. And I honestly don't think that's enough. They're gonna have to keep nerfing him some more because he's currently meta. And something that I found very, very interesting. Now, obviously saying Mauga is the best tank in the role, I mean, that's pretty obvious. But me saying that he's the best hero, now that does, you know, come with some explanation. Like I said, Mauga has 2 bastions on both his sides that are constantly on turret mode. Both of them have ammo, like a lot of ammo. Like you counter almost every single thing in this game because of that, because they're hit scan, right? If you see a Pharah in the air, you can deal with that. See a Mercy in the air, you can deal with that. Echoes, even just stuff in front of you. Mauga's kit is, now that I think about it, it's almost like the most all-rounder kit we're ever gonna get. I mean, obviously excluding some things like the javelin stun, you know, that Orisa has. He's kind of missing. Okay, wait, no, he actually does have a stun, but it's much harder to land than, you know, the javelin. He has a charge which basically makes him invulnerable to almost every single thing. Yes, every single thing, including ults in this game. He has an ability that grants him lifesteal, and his ult grants him unlimited ammo. Now it's quite ironic with the ult because what we got in the trial, that version of Mauga, was so very weak. Like there were times where I'd hesitate to ult because it's like I don't really get any other benefits in this ult besides the fact that I get unlimited ammo. It was more like, as much as the ult is called cage fight, it was almost like the enemy was trapping me instead of me trapping the enemy, you know? But now it's the complete opposite. If you're in cage fight, you're almost guaranteed to die because, you know, bro is that OP. And I think it hurts especially much more for people who haven't bought the battle pass. Me, I'm peoples. I haven't bought the battle pass, so I can't necessarily even have a chance at countering a Mauga. Like the best counter I can think against a Mauga on the enemy team is you going Mauga as well, because he is just that great of a tank right now. And I think the other thing that's really concerning is that Mauga comes out on competitive in like a week. He's 100% meta, and if he isn't, I'm very interested to know why he isn't meta, but he 100% is meta right now. If he goes into competitive the way that he is right now, I definitely 100% think that he is going to be played the most in terms of tank, because he's just that dominant of a tank. It's so crazy. And also the thing is, when I'm saying that like, yo, in order to kind of bear with him, you have to play Zarya or Sigma, I'm not even saying that as like a counter thing. I'm just saying that so then you have a chance of surviving on the tank role. Sigma with his left shift and barrier, I mean, his rock is always useful for that stun. Zarya with her bubble, so you know you can bait in some charge there, but even then it doesn't really matter. I think the better pick between them two is definitely Sigma all the way. If you do have Mauga, definitely go Mauga if you want to counter Mauga. That's my personal opinion. I think enough said of that. The message is pretty clear that this guy is very, very overpowered and needs a lot more nerfs so that he's balanced. But all this yapping about him being overpowered, but what should we nerf? To be honest, I don't know. I wish I remembered exactly what was said in the patch notes, but I really don't remember what was said in the patch notes, so I can't exactly say, okay, revert this change, decrease this by a little bit, increase that by this, blah, 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 blah. All I remember is that they nerfed his cage fight time and his something about his guns. I think it was damage. I'm not sure. The thing is, I also look at Mauga and his charge especially, and then I look at Reinhardt, and I'm just there like, why can't Reinhardt get some of these things that Mauga has? Like the whole thing with invulnerability. Like when I say that Mauga has invulnerability during his charge, he has a lot of invulnerability, and I almost kind of wish like, yo, if this is, you know, working this way with Mauga, then why can't they give some of that to Reinhardt, who is literally a brawl tank who can only fight very, very up close, whereas Mauga can fight from almost any range. Why can't you give some of those sort of buffs to Rein so that Rein is able to actually cook as a Reinhardt? It would help further balance him out, I think. So I hope it's something that they're working on, you know? It would make his charge a lot more reliable, I would say, and it can make him more oppressive as a tank and potential playmaker. But yeah, overall, the state of Mauga currently is super duper crazy. He definitely needs much more nerfs, so then he's much easier to bear with as a tank, and if not bear, it's like bare minimum the tanks should be able to bear with him. And yeah, hopefully we get a solid balance on Mauga before he hits competitive, because if he does hit competitive at the state that he's in right now, he's definitely going to be meta, and it's definitely going to be a lot more horrible to deal with than Orisa. Like a lot of people complain about Orisa being meta. Oh my god, you guys will hate it when Mauga's meta. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So if you have enjoyed this video, then please do leave a like. That would greatly appreciate it if you do want to, of course. And also, if you're going to check out my other videos or past streams or whatever the case may be, then please do subscribe. That would greatly appreciate it if you do want to, of course. What do you think about Mauga? Do you like him? Do you hate him? What do you like about him? What do you hate about him? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I said? Why? What's your favorite sleeping position? Tell me anything in the comments below and I'll reply. I do have a Twitter and an Instagram where I'm pretty active on, and I do have a goal of trying to ratio Mr. Beast over there. And in order to do that, I'm going to need more followers over there, and in order to get more followers over there, I'm gonna need more followers over here, so you know exactly what to do, and you know what it is, guys. Peace.